So we are studying and doing practice according to the great master known as Patanjali. He lived around 2500 years, and he wrote about 195 sutras. Sutras are formulas, a single phrase, a sentence, but every sentence contains many principles. In earlier days, what happened that when we did not have any means of writing, then these masters found a way to compress lot of principles into one phrase so that they can remember and they can pass on the tradition. So every phrase, every Sanskrit phrase contains lot of principles that we have been learning. Just a recap, the first principle, first sutra we learned, Athi Yoga Anushashanam. As when you are a seeker, Patanjali says he can teach us the discipline and education of yoga. But yoga here is different from the popular notion. What is that popular notion? Doing physical exercises, standing on your head uh, for hours together. No, I'm not criticizing, but that is a fact. Yeah. But question is, when I put my head down and the feet up, there is always a chance of extreme blood flow to the brain. It may be good for physical benefits, but can it help my mind to make it empty? So the Patanjali said, yoga is the highest state of mindfulness. Just a recap. Then he said how to do it, empty the mind of its content. Then he said what happens when you empty the mind of its content. Then you settle into your real nature. And what is that real nature? That now you live, work, think, speak in that state of consciousness which is permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. But if you are not in a meditative state, the fourth sutra he says a non meditator's mind is always crazy. Our mind became crazy just before the start of a session. We were debating when we should have the next session because of the time change. Let the digital clock do it and we will decide it. I'm ready to do it. You see that? Non meditative state causes the craziness in the mind. You see, live example. Then he goes on explaining that non-meditative state has trillions of thought pattern, and these thought expresses itself in behavior, in attitude, in reaction, in responses, can be categorized into five groups, are either painful or non-painful. Until now we have studied this much. So now he gives us a secret. He says, what exactly is the practice of meditation? Not standing on your head, eh? Not doing different kind of breathing for regularly. When I used to live in Himalayas, so one guy was doing breathing practices for 3 hours. Somewhere he has studied that gives lot of supernatural powers, and he did it for 2 years. At the end of the 2 year his body was reduced to a skeleton, and the third year he died. So we should be very careful. Very careful. If the vitamin C nowadays is very good, it does not mean that I should take 100 pills a day. You see, the masters are very careful. So now we will understand in 5 or 6 sutras what exactly is the practice. You see that we learn driving, there are certain rules, we gain the skill set, and we know the rules of the road. Similarly, we should know the rules and we should gain the skill set by practice. What is the meaning of the practice in English? Repeat it. Go to the gym every day. Today you lifted 50 pound and after a week you lift 55 pounds. That is what we say the practice is. So you increase your level of. Huh? But is that the practice Patanjali is talking about? That is what we have to explore so that everything becomes very clear to us what exactly is meditation practice. So the master says, what he says, Abhyas Vairagya Abhyam Tannirodha. You see that? It is because of the Patanjali. He compressed all the sutras in such a shorter phrase, and you can memorize and you can keep in head. That is the beauty. Like chemistry, H2SO4, sulfuric acid, HCl, hydrochloric acid, NaCl, salt, sodium chloride. Fortunately, I studied chemistry and physics. I had a fascination for chemistry. So I know that. So first understand, so how to go about it? First, we pay attention to each word to know the meaning, and then we find the knowledge hidden into it. So he says abhyas. Abhyas literally translated as practice. Abhyas vairagya abhyam. So he added the second word is dispassion. Practice with dispassion. Abhyas vairagya abhyam tannirodha. Tannirodha means by which you can bring in mind to the state of emptiness. So he uses the two words. And in the next sutra, he will explain what exactly is the practice and what is dispassion. So we will pick up only first sutra today. Abhyas vairagya bhyam tannirodha. Huh? You can say the three words. Abhyas is a practice. So what exactly is the practice of meditation? What does it mean by the word abhyasa, which is literally translated into English as practice? Clear? So we have already understood one type of the practice. Keep a smile on the face, and why you are so serious? Yeah. So practice in modern science, you say physical exercise system, badminton practice, sports. One thing is clear that we have to repeat, repeat, repeat. That is common element. Here, in the terms of the practice, we have to repeat in order to gain perfection, like driving also in any skill set. That is one thing. But what to repeat? That makes a big difference in the journey of meditation and mindfulness. So the practice words, abhyasa, upaya, there are a lot of words, sadhana, a lot of other words are used. So I will use the word sadhana here. Now pay attention. Drop the mind, drop everything that is not desired and approach near to what is desired is a practice of meditation. That is one definition of the so called when we use the term practice. You see that we go to meditation classes, so I need to practice it. So our mind is not clear what it means by practice. What is not desired? That we have already understood from the previous sutras. We don't desire thought pattern. The mind should be empty. We should not have been crazy. Digital time should have done everything. So I was laughing, and I was also engaged in the same discussion. And at the next moment, I realized, oh, where we are going. You see that? So, in day to day life, we should not engage our mind in those thoughts that are not desired. So, it means it becomes a 24-hour practice. And when we meet every week, then we are extra aware that, okay, if that any thought comes to the mind, bye bye, calmly, not fighting with it. Now, see how important this principle is in day to day life. You're talking to honey, and the honey engages in a hard discussion. What is your duty? Because you are a seeker. Withdraw yourself. That is not desired. Who will win the election? Not desired. You may express your opinion, A or B, but if you find that the other person opposes you and reacts, not desired. What I have to do? Let it's an election process. Do you see that? So I have to live in that awareness. And husbands belong to one party, and they received another guy who belonged to another party. So when Ann husband said, he should win, I said yes. When the other guy said he should win, I said yes. Ann knows it. I need not to do. I said yes to both of them. But when they are together, then I see that one person is not looking at me. Not interested. Don't engage into unnecessary, unwanted discussion that creates many thought pattern, prevents you from meditative state. Even if you believe in one thing, why you should impose others? Will that help you to get thousands of dollars? No benefit. We are not social activists. We are not politicians. So understand the practice means I have to leave all the thoughts, even if they are cherished thoughts of mine, but they are not desired, should be dropped from the mind. And we should invite those thoughts that are desired. This is what is known as practice. One way to understand. And the second way, if we understand the upaya, another word is used, upaya. So the Sanskrit word upaya means sitting near. Do you sit near the enemy? You don't sit near the enemy. So we sit near to our real self. The real self is devoid of the thoughts. So can I see that my mind is thoughtless even for a moment, even for a few seconds? Upaya. Upaya means sitting nearby. your real nature. Allow the mind to sit nearby your real nature. So we used to, in my early days when I used to go to my master, I always liked to sit nearby my master, huh? With a feeling that he will bless me. The thought of blessing has changed your mental thinking. You see that? That is another process, we used to follow. So upaya means sitting nearby the real nature. So now, do you know what is your real nature? It is pure consciousness. Do you know what is that pure consciousness? It is devoid of thought. It is devoid of opposing thought pattern. What it means? It is opposite of pain and pleasure. It is a permanent state of peace and happiness. So I should keep that in my mind to reach to the highest state of meditation. See that how beautiful the way our masters explain. Whatever I'm explaining, it is coming from the master. I have nothing to do it. I'm a middle agent. So I'm passing on this information because I have understood it clearly. Second word is also more important. Second word is known as dispassion. The Sanskrit word is vairagya. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. It vibrates inside, and I understand, oh, this is what is meditation. And you simply enter into the meditative state the more you practice. So what is this dispassion? It is opposite of passion, literally. What is passion? Now understand what is passion so that we can understand dispassion. Sense organs, for example, eyes picks up a beautiful object, any beautiful object. Why I said beautiful? Because then the mind is invoked by the eyes as a sense organ to say likes and dislikes. Similarly, the mind is invoked by the taste. Oh, what a beautiful pasta! And always cooks very tasty food. So the mind, you see the taste object. So tongue object. In between the taste. So I have the impression of the taste, I have the impression of the sight and the sound and the touch that is going to the mind and creates an impression, and that impression leads to passion in my life. That passion is known as craving, craziness, obsession, attraction. A lot of other words are there. What happens then? The mind constantly allows these impressions in the form of a thought pattern into the mind, and that prevents the meditative state. So we need a dispassion. Are you getting it? Dispassion. Understand in a different way. Object is outside. Physical sense organ are the eyes that you see. That cannot be activated. The faculty of the vision cannot be activated if the mind is not present in the eye. Are you getting? Sometimes we see something and still we don't see. I'm looking at the wall and the mind is somewhere. So mind is looking somewhere else. Because of the thought. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? If the mind has a certain passion and the craziness, then this mind, what we say, remains absent minded. That is what the passion is. So, what he says, the mind should continue to move what is desired, leave what is not desired, means meditation succeeds when I live in the state of dispassion. Dispassion doesn't mean that you like pasta, so you don't eat pasta. You are not carried away by the taste and the impression of the pasta. But let us enjoy pasta. Let us enjoy anything that you are eating, anything you are wearing, anything you like. Now, see one more part, and you need to think over it. Then we will do the practice. Very important. Say, my mind thinks of India. So, my mind has gone to India? Ask yourself. That will make you understand the passion and the dispassion. India is still there where it is. My mind is also still inside me. If the mind has gone to India, then I cannot speak. What happened then to the mind? What happened to the mind? Has imagined in the form of a picture and a thought and image. That is what I say, that my mind has gone to India. My mind has not gone anywhere. My mind has an imagination. I'm using the word imagination. My mind has a thought. Thought has an image of an object, and that is India. Because if I don't know about India, how can I have an image? Do you know what is kuku kuku kuka? You don't know, so you cannot have an image. It means nothing. So you see that the past image must be there. I must have a knowledge. And knowledge carries a thought. Thought carries an object. How deeper our masters are. Do you see that? Do you see the point? So the passion comes because of the thought that is not desired, but the mind continues to live with it because of likes and dislikes, because of attachment and detachment. Say, for example, the moment you say honey, so for some people, the honey means spouse. For other means my dog. No, I'm just saying. No, my cat. Our friend Casey here, my honey, she is a great lover of dog and knows that. So you see, every word, every sentence, every structure, phrase has created an impression in the mind, and that impression has a likes and dislikes. If I'm not aware, the mind is carried away. I'm lost. When I'm lost, what happens then? Last point, and then we will do the practice. The moment when you say that you are lost, you are in passion, you are in obsession, you are in attachment. Just recognize it. And when you are in passion, then this mind makes you crazy. Then this mind works on you. Then you are impulsive. Then you are instinctive. Then you are habitual. Mindfulness is gone. My master used to give us a very simple example. Take this word lightly. Don't be so serious. Someone said you something, you are crazy. Thank you. I'm more crazy than you think. Stop the topic. If some people do not agree with you, why they should agree with me? I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm asking you to understand. The entire Eastern wisdom is a journey to acquire the knowledge to study yourself. It's not a question of agreement or disagreement. Well, then you enter into a disagreement. Thank you. This is not the way. Thank you. Yes, you are right. This is not the right way. Take this word lightly. You will always be happy. Don't take this word seriously. That leads to passion. So, this is the first, we have 5 sutras, 5 phrases about what exactly is the practice. And the next week, when we will understand what is the soul of the word practice, it will blow your mind. That is the depth of the Eastern psychology. So let us start our journey. Let us start our